Welcome back to the Queensland edition of the Mailbag. Shane Ciurleo joins me again, and he's freshly shaven for the punters out there.
Yeah, I did. Forget to do that. Sorry, mate.
Big few days in Queensland. Sunshine Coast got washed out today, which was unfortunate. Shame I didn't wash it out before the first race. But tomorrow at the Gold Coast, you'll be providing a set. There's a couple of really good-looking races here. Let's kick off straight into it because I don't want to hear about your sick beats today, especially late in the day at Sydney. Let's talk about Gold Coast in race 7. There's an 1,800-metre benchmark 72 there. I thought that was an interesting runner that jumped out of the ground from a performance benchmark point of view, and you might be able to shed a little bit of light on that. Junction recorded his best ever figure by quite a margin last start.
He did.
And there was another horse that knocked us off on one of the horses we were on. We backed a horse called King's Full, and La Pulga got the better of that in a slowly run race at the Gold Coast last start. Let's talk race 7.
Not that keen to kick off on that note, actually, because that was sick, that King's Full beat. I don't know, like we got completely lost in the run, and post-race play, the post-race praise for the ride on La Pulga was vomit-worthy because everyone went to the centre of the track looking for the better going and overcorrected, and Jag was just able to just sit on his mount and get pulled through the inside and straight onto the fast lane. So, look, I think I'll start by saying that this week's Gold Coast meeting will be completely different to last week. I thought that last week was disgusting. The fence was quicksand. There were so many variables and there's so few lanes, I suppose, is the terminology I'm looking for. Rails out 6 metres to the 400 and then 4 metres for the remainder. And my track spies tell me that the grass has been cut considerably shorter this week and no rain. So hopefully if the rain stays away, we continue to get a drier surface with less grass cover. We're potentially going to get a more even track here. So the first couple of races are 1,800-metre maidens, which we won't get a great guide, but we'll get some guide, sort of race 3, the 2-year-olds, and race 4, stay and race, but a better class of horse. So by the time we get into race 7, we should have a fairly good handle on it, I reckon. Mentioned Junction there before that run. Look, I've got a big question mark over the rating of that race that's come back. The figure was, as you said, enormous for the winner. I'm just not too sure about this trip now for the horse. Obviously, it steps up in trip again, and it's going to be on, obviously, pushing forward from a wide gate. So I think this is a totally different race to what it sort of got last time. So a question mark. I have sort of sniffed around a few other places to find out what other blokes had for the rating of this horse, and it's pretty consistent. So, it obviously, like you said, it put in a huge run, and whether it can do it again, I don't know. But did you have been through the race yourself here?
Oh, I just thought La Pulga was good. More so that King's Full was a bad ride. I thought they should have led on King's Full last time. So La Pulga hasn't done anything wrong, and that form should stack up. And I think, that even though it's got 61 kilos, I think it's going to map okay as well. So I thought it was a clear, definite danger. And the spike in rating really, I found it quite alarming, and it's coming off the high SP, not of, sort of $20 there. So I couldn't really come into Junction at 350, especially going back up in trip again.
Yeah, I think that's key. I think we've got La Pulga around that $4 mark. That's available at the moment. I actually thought it would be favourite. Like I know like I said earlier, it got the favours in the run, last start. But I think, obviously now that it's had 3 runs, I'm sort of happy that it's on the backup, on the 7-day backup at 1,800 metres again. So I still think, obviously home track train horses at the Gold Coast, have that advantage, and the rest of the field is, either getting horse like Smoky Diamond sort of getting to his preferred trip, but he's second up, and the rest of the field totally, pretty well out of form. So I think it all does point to La Pulga.
Yeah, I thought Miss Shanty sort of knocking the door down, but needs a weaker grade than this. I sort of agree with Smoky Diamond. Looks a good chance, but yeah, I didn't really like 1350 up to 1800 against some of these horses with better platforms. Race 8's a really interesting little setup there with Toby Edmonds having 5 runners in the race. How do you approach? Do you sort of see this stuff in Sydney on occasion with Chris Waller having big numbers in a smaller field or having half the race? How do you come at that mentally?
Oh well, I suppose this is this race in particular interesting. Is obviously Toby's got a number of horses, like you mentioned, 5 there, and then you add sort of and you respect all of Toby's horses anyway, in particular on the home track, and then you have a look at you throw Matty Dunn into the mix there with one as well. So you've got some proper Saturday class trainers, I suppose you could call them, with all nice horses. Like I couldn't really, I tried to pen horses in the race from that perspective rather than, and then sort of got myself left with a couple of horses rather than try and work through 6. I was happy to pen Scout. I give 50 Cuffs a good chance, although at 240 I thought that come up short enough. Xanthus, probably not. Baroda, I think, is a nice horse. Obviously, Ryan Maloney rides it. And then you've got that Mayosi that Jag takes the ride on. And I thought that was sort of, to me, you sort of add that Bafana, I suppose. I don't really know how to line that up. You've got a horse like sort of Baroda and Fisticuffs that have, strung a couple together. And then you look at that Bafana's win to the eye was quite something the other day. They did go very hard in the race, but it still made up a lot of ground. So it makes it very difficult. And I think sort of the maps come into this. And, I did lean to Fisticuffs slightly on top, but no meat on the bone at the price.
Yeah, I thought that, I think you make a good point with Bafana. There's sort of the jury's out there, although it was pretty good. Some of the late times, the late sort of last 600 and those sort of figures looked okay, but there's always that asterisk, 1,000 metres, does it translate to 1,200 metre form? I thought Baroda is still pretty untapped. I've been on the wrong side of that once or twice and pretty much learned very quickly shortly after that. And the horse that looks to have really strong form from Melbourne is Mayosi against, a field like this. But, if I had to suggest a bet in the race, it would be definitely to lay Fisticuffs. I couldn't get it anywhere near $2.40 or anywhere around even. So I think if I had to have one bet, that'd be it.
Yeah, I think for me, it's going to be price. Like if you want to lay Fisticuffs out to $3 plus, I'll probably meet you on the other side.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to meet you there. Yeah, looking at race 9's a great one. Obviously, you'll be doing the set, so
good race.
Card. Maybe a bit deep for this video. We'll keep it a little bit short. You mentioned another race early in the card that you're interested in.
Yeah, I didn't mind to look at the 2-year-old race. Sounds a bit strange because you've got 2 horses in the market at about even money, $2.10, and then the next best is Vincent, who comes up around about that 850 quote, who I think should be a lot longer than that as well, probably double that price. So you're basically looking at 2 horses with even money. Look, I think one drifts and one starts shorter, and I think the Dr. Jack probably drifts. Harold Norman, Ricky Palmer combo. Look, once again, this is another horse, first up 1,200, first starting a race. Got completely lost in behind them. It's pretty stiff not to win, actually. It just went down to Zeri at Doomben. It was a good run from nowhere, and it really attacked the line. Thought it went super. And then, you come up against Loving Miss. Obviously, Edmonds home track with Matt McGilvray on board. Like, it's a winning combination, and it's the sort of combo that that I would rather take, 210, that combination home track off its last couple of runs, because they just win, more often than not. So it's possibly a play. It depends on where the prices end up tomorrow. But, I would imagine looking at the field that both of those horses will be there to play. It's just a matter of which one, of which one you want to be on, because I'd imagine just looking at the race, like I say, they're both there to play and they're both there to win. So.
Yeah, I can't really find an edge in that one, but I guess the late betting will tell the story, and
it will.
You'll have a pretty strong handle on it by then. Doomben looks like a really good card. I think the weather's going to hold off as well.
Hopefully, yeah. What a betting day! It's back. We're sort of like back to the to where we were a month ago. We got Doomben Saturday and Toowoomba Saturday night. So.
Double bubble. The track at Doomben played enormous last week.
Second best track in Queensland, Doomben. I'm like massive anti. I am massively anti-Eagle Farm at the moment. I know that it's had its issues, but dead set. Some horses are complete pen jobs there. It wasn't that long ago. There's a million examples of horses that just don't go there and come out and race well and or win next start. So it has been something I've been able to follow reasonably successfully. Off that profile of horses just not letting go at Eagle Farm. And back to Doomben, and I thought like you said, it raced super last week. And you're going to Doomben this week, and you're betting with confidence that you're going to get a chance.
Yeah, I found that last week. It's probably the best Doomben's ever played. For people at home that aren't really across the Eagle Farm situation, what's going on with that track?
Well, I don't really. Well, there's talk, and then there's the official line, and I suppose from a punting point of view, you just want the facts. And I speak to a number of participants to try and get those facts, because I'd rather want to know what a jockey thinks about the track rather than what a race club wants to tell me about the track. The track is definitely firm. It's a number of jockeys and trainers have said you can just feel the difference riding on that surface when there's no rain. There was weeks during the summer here where we had 100 millimetres of rain and we were racing on a good fall. It just absorbs the water, drains the water so quickly. But once that little bit of top of the surface of grass is sort of cut away, it's really, really hard. And a lot of horses just don't let go on it. You would have seen it in recent weeks where, clods the size of dinner plates have been kicking up. That's basically because they've had a disease on the leaf. And I think they had a thatch issue as well. So basically the top of the surface was really loose, and that's why it was getting kicked back. And, hence they've stopped racing on it in a bid to try and, resurrect it, which I'm not, it is that time. It's that time of year for resurrection, I suppose. But this has been going on for 3 years, and it's just, it's unfortunate, but the way it is. And, I personally, I bet more at Doomben than what I do at Eagle Farm, like dollar-wise.
Yeah, when Eagle Farm's, I guess, up and going, it's hard to knock. But, it's one problem after another. Let's stick to the 2-year-old theme. Race 3 looks like a really quality event. We've got Dusty Tycoon off a couple of good trials, failed in the Magic Millions after winning a couple of starts early in the career. You've got a horse, Broken Hero, the Bow Desert form. I'm not sure that's going to translate across. Charlie Sveen comes from the Gold Coast, looked okay there. Minji was that short SP, it failed, and then it's come out and looked really impressive last start. Gets a funny switch, Cahill off, and then it's Steph Thornton on, and then Snappy Reply. It just sort of looked to conk out last start, I thought. I'm not sure that I could be with that runner. What were your thoughts on the race?
Yeah, I like it. Well, it's a good race. If you get a chance, if anyone wants to have a look at a horse with good gate speed, have a look at the last start replay of the 4, Charlie's Fiend. Like, it dead set Shanghaied out of the gates and left him in there. It was quite amazing how far in front it was after a couple of bounds. It was quick. There was whispers around the track that it's the next buffering. Was the wrap on the horse before the race. Look, it got the job done, but geez, I don't know about a bit more pressure at 1,200 around Doomben is a different kettle of fish, I would have thought. Look, it got the job done now, and it did leave Loving Miss in its wake. And Loving Miss is a horse that goes around tomorrow at the Gold Coast that we discussed, and she's a tigeress. Did run today actually before they got washed out. So look, I think, and then you've got Dusty Tycoon, and it's going to be pushing forward. You've got Charlie's Fiend, Gate 2. You've got Snappy Reply, looks a natural jump and run type horse, and then you got these horses at 1,200. I anticipate there's going to be some good speed here. Aiden Thompson's particularly aggressive young rider. He'll be pushing forward from his gate. And like I said, Charlie's Fiend, extremely quick, snappy reply drawn between them. Realistically, the map suggests to me that Minji can win again. I know it's drawn wide, but you've seen that first start in a race when, it was a heavy track, admittedly, but sat deep and then kicked clear and got tired late. It wasn't the greatest ride. And then Mick Carl obviously timed his run well last start to get snappy reply, as you mentioned, on the line. It just sort of does set up for it. I think that Minji will get over the top.
I thought snappy reply looked delay. I thought Minji was the bet, and I'd just be very wary of a horse like Dusty Tycoon with a fair bit of improvement there.
Yeah, possibly. Early 2-year-old form as well. It led and beat Miss Lot 1 before it went to the Magic Millions. Now, I think Miss Lot 1 won the Rockhampton 2-year-old sales race yesterday. So what day is it? It's Wednesday, isn't it?
We're just in ISO, mate.
Anyway, so it went to Rocky this prep for getting ready for that sales race, obviously, and it did win at a 490 at a 650 SP. So I've got some question marks on that early 2-year-old form, and obviously proof will be in the pudding this week. But happy to stay in the Minji corner.
Let's look at probably the most competitive race on the card, or a pretty deep race. It's race 6 at Doomben, 1,350 metre race. Ballistic Boy has come up favourite around the $3.20 mark. There's a horse that you were on last start, Juliana, backing up on the 7-day backup. Ziemba was pretty quiet last start. Stampy's right in the market there at 440. Really tricky race.
Yeah, what do you do with that last week's race? Like, you've got Ziemba and Juliana. There was a bit of a kerfuffle in the mounting yard after the race between trainer and jock from all reports. I don't know. I don't know what to make of Ziemba. I thought that, he got tightened up a little bit on the fence, and Robbie had to sort of half check. I don't think there was anything untoward going on there. There was a bit of money for it late, but it sort of, you could almost forgive that run probably. And Juliana was a victim of circumstances, sort of got back and got a bit lost and just, ran up the back of one that was completely dead at the 250. So you can sort of suggest that, you put a line through it as well. So really difficult race, I think. You got the Command and Conquer form from Stamp. Do you call it Stampy or Stamp?
Whatever the owners call it.
I don't know. Well, let's call it. And Chris Munster's stable going really well. They've found another. Whether it's got better horses coming through or whatever else, but he's racing. They're racing well anyway. So very competitive little race. I've got no real firm sort of opinion on this race. The map sort of says that there's going to be a big gap between horses like Stampy and horses like Ballistic Boys. Where does Juliana fit in from gate 1? Can it hold a spot a little bit closer today this time than what it did last start? So there's a few variables there, and hence, it's a pretty wide open market as well. So no real firm opinion. Happy to forgive Ziemba or Juliana. Certainly give Ballistic Boy a chance, and wouldn't surprise to see Stampy sort of jump and put itself right on the speed and give him something to catch as well.
Yeah, I thought just looking at the prices, I think Ballistic Boy I'd rather be on over Stamp or Stampy or whatever they call it. I think Ziemba's a possible big improver.
Bad gate, mate.
Yeah, I think if I had to have a bet in the race, it'd be probably Ballistic Boy. Looking at the card at the Gold Coast tomorrow of the races that we've just discussed, what would your best bet be?
Look, it'd be price dependent in the 2-year-old race on race 3.
Yeah.
Loving Miss. I just think that Edmonds McGilvray combo. I like the way it chased the other day. They ran time. it's hard to say that's my best. If you know, like obviously at the prices, it's hard to say it's my best. But it's certainly a race that I'll be getting involved with. If we're sort of betting black odds, 240, 250 around that price, I'd be happy to bet.
Okay. And yeah, I'd probably say that Fisticuffs would be my best lay on the Gold Coast card. I need to put more time into that and more time into Doomben. I'll be flicking out a free set for Doomben on Saturday, and Curly, you'll be double barrels. You'll be Gold Coast tomorrow for anyone that wants to join up, and you'll be black shorts. You'll be on the home shorts at Toowoomba on Saturday night. How do you get through the double session? Because obviously you're betting all day and then night. Have you got any tricks to your stamina?
Yeah, I don't drink alcohol on Friday night, so I'm right to go Saturday because it's a big day. I sort of treat it like a game of footy almost, and then, I do have a freshen up after half time, which is, somewhere between the end of Brisbane and the start of Toowoomba. But like the Toowoomba card is very skinny on Saturday night. I think the fast class race of the night is a bench 58, 1,870 metre event. And like I love, and I have a lot of success, most of my success, and I really enjoy betting into those out wide low races with only a small number of chances. So pretty keen to rip into on Saturday, actually.
You nearly jagged a 50-1 winner last Sunday at Toowoomba.
Yeah. What you got something against me today, bringing up all these things? Yeah, look, huge effort, Spinning Spirit. I think it's amazing how quickly the market moved too on Sunday up here. Magic Trick I thought was the horse to beat. I did throw out a suggested bet on it. And Spinning Spirit, I think, was $61 when I sent it out, which was only 4 minutes before the race or something. And I think it's SP 21s. Something ridiculous like that, heavy late. And unfortunately, it would have been a better result, obviously, at that price. And she got stuck 3 deep and then just kept pushing on and eventually got one off. And then on the corner, she's put the leader away as well. And unfortunately, the favourite got up the inside and bloused us right on the line, which we had a save bet on it, basically. But close but no cigar. Very, very frustrating couple of days, actually. I lost I think it was like 5 or 6% on turnover down for the weekend. It was over 22 races and it was a marathon, basically, betting card at Toowoomba on Sunday as well. So a few frustrating seconds, but pretty confident this week again that we'll be thereabouts.
Cool. All right. Well, if you guys want to check it out, head to themailbag.com.au. Even if you hit the landing page, the homepage there, you can scroll down the bottom and sign up and subscribe to our emails. We send 1 or 2 a week and usually just push the videos, and there's a couple of free tips on Fridays. So we do a little whip around our best free bet early in the card that we've found something that we like that gets sent out on the email. And Dicko's content, if you haven't seen it, this week on Commando Miss from the Eden camp, they set one up and got the price at $6.50. So that's definitely worth checking out on the Mailbag TV website there as well. Thanks, Curly. Good luck.
Mate. Cheers. Talk soon. Thanks.
See you, bud.